What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your daily news report for Friday, October 14th. So here's what I can tell you today. We have some more good news. We have some both good news and bad news. We're going to talk about gas prices and what President Biden just said just the other day. We're going to talk about the railroads and how there's two additional railroad unions that have agreed to ratify the deal. So I want to break down what's going on there. We got a new Social Security warning that I want to give you. And we're going to talk about weather. It's coming to that time where we're starting to see weather change, and we have some news regarding La Nina. So we're going to address that in today's video as well. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. All I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and let's get right down to it. So here's what we know. Do have some good news. President Biden has said that there will be new action on gas prices coming this next week. Now, what is actually going to happen? Well, here's what he said. President Biden said the price of gas is still too high, and we need to keep working to bring it down. I'll have more to say about that next week. He did not elaborate on that at all. That is where he stopped. However, I'm not going to leave you with just that. I want to explain what the White House has been considering over the past few weeks. And this really started to ramp up over the past week after OPEC Plus decided to cut oil output by 2 million barrels per day. So here's what the White House is planning, or at least this is what we know. President Biden is planning on either releasing more barrels of oil from our Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help bring down costs. That's one of the options. The other option, and the White House has been in talks of doing this, and that is imposing export limits in order to shore up our fuel stock. Here's the issue with both of those. One, if we pull more oil from our Strategic Petroleum Reserve, we're already at historic lows. And so now it's not really a strategic. Now it's more of a tactical move, and it's more for Democrats and the upcoming election. That's really all it is. Now, for the second one, by imposing export limits, according to economists, they say doing this would actually hurt two different places. It would hurt the East Coast, and it would hurt the West Coast. That's what would happen. So as of right now, both options, I guess, are on the table, but neither one is really highly considered according to multiple experts. So we'll see what happens there. But again, we do have some more good news. Let's talk about this good news because it has to do with the railroads. What we have heard is that actually 2 more labor unions have agreed to ratify the tentative agreement. That's good news. This means that now we have 6 out of the 10 unions have agreed to avoid a strike. That's good. The 2 unions that voted to ratify this agreement is the SMART MD, and also it is the NCFO. Okay? Now, just want to point this out. This was all after the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees Division rejected the tentative deal earlier on this week. And their reasoning was simple. They want a better quality of life, and they didn't think they were getting it. But according to the railroad or multiple railroad unions, they say that paid sick days could be more important than the bonuses that the employees are currently expecting. So keep that in mind, that it's the quality of life is more important than anything here. And this is turning into an issue because many people were hoping that just the bonuses themselves would be enough, but it might not be the case. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is that the 2 largest railroad unions, they are still voting, and the votes will not be counted until November 17th. Okay, that's when they would start. But here's the thing, with more unions agreeing to this deal right now, it does show some hope that they're very close. I've heard stories from people that do work for the railroads, and some said that there's no way they were going to accept this deal. Others were saying that they're going to wait and they're going to see. But here's what I can tell you. If 6 out of the 12 unions have already agreed, this is probably going to put some more pressure on the unions that haven't voted yet. And so once they do vote, it could be a yes. Again, all 12 unions have to agree to this in order to avoid a strike. But as of right now, it does look like the likelihood of a strike happening is very small. So we'll see what happens there. And let's talk about the Social Security warning that we now have. And this is somewhat troubling. And I bring this up, and I haven't brought this up in, actually, I don't think I brought it up even this year. It was probably back in 2021 that I even mentioned this. But here's what you need to know. And most people know this already is if you are collecting Social Security, your cost of living adjustment for 2023 is going to be 8.7%. That is a key number. That is a key number. You have to keep that in mind. This means that a little over $140 every single month for the average Social Security recipient will be added on to their benefits. But this is something that you may not know, and this is where the warning comes in. No, this has nothing to do with the fact that a larger Social Security benefit could decrease food stamps. I know a lot of people are going to ask. No, I will address that in a future video. Is a larger benefit could also cause some to lose some of their housing assistance, right? This has nothing to do with any of that. Here's the warning. After the disaster of a CPI report that we saw this month, many experts believe that the Federal Reserve is going to have to pretty much do a rug pull the rug out from underneath the economy. This would send us into a recession. During a recession, what normally happens is we see higher unemployment. We also see wages are not going up. Here's the warning. Right now, Social Security has the funds needed to operate as is through 2035. After that, they could become insolvent, which doesn't mean you don't get anything. It just means that Social Security benefits would go from 100% down to like 74%. So again, you would lose about 26% of your benefits every single month. Here's the problem. If we are in a recession, unemployment increases, which means the amount of money that is contributed towards Social Security taxes is decreased. And in a time when the cost of living adjustment is going to bring in an additional 8.7% to your benefits, okay? So the payout is greater, but if we see the revenue coming in is less, there's a gap, right? This means that benefits have increased the payouts, but lower employment would decrease the revenue coming in. This is a deadly combination that would ultimately cause Social Security to become insolvent that much sooner. That's the warning. Okay? Right now, this is good that we are seeing a cost of living adjustment at 8.7%. Well, it's good in some cases, right? But the issue is it's a larger payment. But if Social Security doesn't get the revenue that it needs, then yes, it's paying out more money. It's not bringing in anything new, which means Social Security could become insolvent that much sooner. And that is the overall problem. And now let's talk about weather, okay? And particularly, let's talk about what the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration believes is coming. Because according to the NOAA, they say that they believe there's a 75% chance that La Nina will stick around through this winter. That is very important to understand. Now, the reason why this is so important to understand is simple. According to their research, the 2022-2023 La Nina will likely stay in the range of weak to moderate throughout this winter. So what does this mean? Well, I had to do some research. A weak La Nina means that much of the country will be at or below average temperatures. So it means it will be colder. Okay. A moderate La Nina means that there would be less rain and snowfall. Freezes tend to be fewer and further between, and in most of the country, we will see normal or drier than average conditions. So here's what I can tell you. Right now, the overall consensus is we will not see much snow this winter. But here's the issue. It will create a colder than normal temperature across the United States, This is going to greatly impact our heating bills. Again, we're still seeing inflation at 8.2%, right? Energy costs are up like 19.8% year over year. So that's a huge concern, that it's going to be colder, which means we have to run our heating a little bit longer, right? A little bit stronger, right? Just to make sure we're comfortable or not freezing to death, or our pipes are freezing in our homes, right? So that's an issue. The other issue is this is going to affect our crops. This will impact our crops for 2023. Because what's going to happen is if crops are freezing, if the soil is still frozen and cannot be we cannot plant anything, right? It's going to send us further back. Guess what happens then? We will see our crops increase in price because of supply and demand. Food prices right now are up almost 10%. So again, this is not a great situation to be in, but that's currently where things are at. So that's what we know as of right now. That is the good news and the bad news. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this right in the comment section below. But again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.